Alright, just another snappy update. I've done a little bit more on the build. I ended up deciding to, the main area here needed something a bit extra. I thought it was a bit bland looking. So I've created these two floor panels on either side with the Weyland-Yutani Corp logo. All I did there was I found an STL on Thingiverse for the logo, and then I superimposed that onto my floor tiles, which are Dragon to Rest items, and I basically meshed them together in Cura. And I didn't know how it would go, but it turned out quite good. I just obviously made the logo sit proud of the floor by a few mil and then painted it up. So pretty happy with how they came out. The only yellow rattle can I had on hand was a gloss, which I wasn't sure of. I've hit it with that, and I actually don't mind how it looks. It looks very clean, obviously. It could probably use a bit of weathering, maybe some Nuln oil or something, which I'll get around to eventually, but yeah, happy with the effect that's giving me. I didn't get to do it last time, so I'm going to try and show how this dial works. So that's it there. So that's pretty good. I thought that was a good alternative to the, sorry about my fingers in the way there, good alternative to the usual way of tracking it. What else have we got? The other thing I've done is, so we come down the stairs here, around the corner to this room here, which at the moment is set up as the nest room. I've used some 2-part resin to do the slime effects. I still need to obviously complete some corners and more walls to finish this room, but really happy with the look that's giving me. Now, I noticed on the board that sometimes there's vents around the place, which are numbered like corridors, so I don't know how well you can see that, but it's like a big ventilation duct panel, which again is an STL file that I found separately, just a standalone vent, which I've meshed into the Dragon's Rest walls on the back side there, so that it looks like a vent shaft. I could have just painted the numbers and pretended that there's vents there, but given the lengths I'm going to with this build, I wanted it to actually be represented by something. So thought that turned out pretty good. Then we've got this little hex frame here. So this will eventually be mounted to the board, so it's fixed, so it'll be easier to use, but yeah, that's it there. Just sprayed a little yellow marker, and it just sits into there. So this is the first prototype I've printed. It was a bit of guesswork. I obviously had to measure the actual cardboard hexes and then measure the frame and scale it to what I thought would be right. This one's probably a couple of mil too big, so I've got another one on the printer at the moment, which is about 0.5% smaller, which should fit it quite snugly. And I've upped the Z height, so it sits a little bit taller than what it does now. So I'm going to make sure there's room around each room to have one of those hexes, one of those frames next to it, and that's how we'll track the room item numbers and so forth. That's our lab, which I showed you guys last time. So that's complete. Ladder going up. And then our stairs. Sorry about the shadows. This is like a really quick and dirty video, guys, because I've got about 101 things I'm doing at the moment. But I just want to log this build. So hence the video with a few more updates. So what I've been finding as well is, obviously doing this board is quite convoluted when you're doing a 3D build, making sure that all the corridors link up properly and making sure there's room to have both the rooms and those hex frames around it. And then I want to leave room for some random cutouts, which I'll print out greebles on top of to represent the top of the ship to fill in space. And the plan there is to run a long LED light strip around those greeble inserts to provide some different colour lighting in and around the board, on top of the little light features that I've done already. But what I've found is, getting back to my original point, these newspaper cuttings in my rooms And I've been using drinking straws with the little flexi bends to represent where I need corridors, so I can make sure everything's going to fit. So quite random, but it's been working really well. So got that one in there, and then my theatre room here. This is the other board with the hibernatorium, which I showed you guys last time. So that's all mapped out now as well. And I'm thinking I can do a half-size board at the back end, which will be the 3 engine rooms, which I'm going to recess down into the foam, so that basically I want it to end up in a 3-tiered system. You've got the normal height, and then you've got the raised height here for the cockpit, and then it'll drop down to the engine rooms at the back. So that's the update. Thanks for watching. Really enjoying this build, and look forward to bringing you guys some more updates when I have them. Thanks.